Brain does brain thing. All right, watching GitCon panel, Git Kraken product team Q&A, 13th of November 2021. Right, so I'm watching this, and they're talking about their own internal terminal and having people move from other terminals to their terminal because they want their terminal to be like amazing, and then work with their product, right? Just mainly for when you're doing Git actions, but I'm sure that they're thinking about all actions. Anyway, and it got me thinking about terminal customizations in general, right? But also, Linus from Linus Tech Tips has recently released a video about his experience with Linux. Basically, he's trying to switch full time for a month, and he's doing a challenge with the other team member. I'm not familiar with the channel very much, so and their experience is like mostly graphical user interface experience, and I find it fascinating. As a guy who grew up with a Commodore 64. Which was all terminal based, and then you switch over to Windows 3.1, and then 95, 98, whatever, etc. The terminal has always been something for me. Like I moved to Linux as soon as I could when I was 18 with my own computer, because I like the philosophy of it, and also terminal. Like for me, terminal is the fundamental interface to the computer, right? But it's shit for most people. It makes sense that the learning curve is too high. It makes sense that it's not pretty for a majority of users. And I thought to myself, like, why isn't there? Probably is, honestly, like, because that's just the way the universe works. Why isn't there a distribution specifically tailored for terminal users to be not? It's not so much for like power users, but people who just love the terminal. Like, it's got nothing to do with speed, efficiency. Like, I mean, those things are good, but I mean, like, Powerline, Airline, there's another one, Starship. There's other like pretty terminal things that make it all like flash and do basically like you're playing a video game. There are heaps of terminal things that are just hilariously awesome. That just are fun to use. So if you're not you're not a productivity kind of user, like a programmer or something that needs to do things, but you just love the terminal because it's like the definitive way to use a computer, and always has been. GUI users can get fucked, in my opinion. They're using like the subpar method to interact with your computer, but I can understand why terminal is shit and inconsistent, just like the GUI is inconsistent. And I thought to myself, like, really, there should be like a rating system within, like, why is there a distribution with like a rating system? You can just be like, every application should have a manual page, like all of them. Like, there should be no executable that you can't run man executable and get like a really nice manual page for. And I mean like a really nice manual page with examples. Like, why don't they have examples for a lot of manual pages? That's fucking dumb, right? But that rating based system of applications would be primary. Like that would be what's in the package manager. Rate my app. Does it include all of the things? Like, what is the rating of this app, and how do you increase the rating of your app? Like, how do you increase the quality rating of your app so that other people go, quality rating super high, awesome? Like, I expect a 5-star app. Like, you probably have it based out of 100, and then have that 100 split up into segments, where each segment has its own individual rating, like 10 points for a man page, 10 points for a GUI that's consistent with, say, a spec, like, and then all of that. So that a 100 point app is super consistent all the way through, like is got 5-star ratings on its usage, etc. Right? But there should be this should be like a sort of like a definitive rating system for applications, so that you can use it, and it shouldn't be limited to, say, a Linux distro. It should be like a system for rating apps that is global across the board, whether it's Mac, Windows, like fucking Linux, anything, BSD, and it should just be about consistency of usage, understandable. What's the other things that are involved? Is that like the philosophy of least surprise. It should be like the most obvious thing, and yeah, and then I think the whole distro should be super pretty, like if I was going to make a distro, that's what it would be, and I'd work more on the rating and the infrastructure than I would on the actual applications. Let the application developers work on the applications, you know, like just make it so that they're rated low in your opinion if they don't have all this stuff, and then that way there might be some sort of incentive competition. You could have you can have the whole rating system not just be a sideshow, but be like the show, and then like rewards for like each year you would do awards for the like up and coming, like straight out of the gate, you know, like best improved, most consistent, you know, like, and it would be dynamic, and people would have to recertify apps. You'd have it expire over time, you know, and the rating system would be the main show of the whole distribution, you know. And if I think it's about aligning incentives for what, you know, what is wanted by the public, you know. If you want to align your incentives, then you set up an incentive game, and then you create a system which rewards people who follow that incentive game, and then you don't necessarily have to punish people who don't follow the incentive game, but there could be like, you know, Razzie Award type things for like ridiculous, like backwards. Oh, you fucked up, you know, like you went way back in the rating system. Here's an award for least, like most devolved, or, you know, like, and in lightheartedness, you know, like you want to provide support for those people as well, like to see if they're interested in getting up, you know. And then if you've got donation systems in your platform for being able to do that, you'd give some rewards for, you know, for that sort of stuff. Anyway, so 6 minutes and 43 seconds of ranting about like an instantaneous idea that I had while watching a tech conference by people. Brain, you know, you love it.